today. Let's glorify Nrsingadeva. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Pralada Lada Daine, Pralada Lada Daine, Hiranya Kashipurvakshaha, Hiranya Kashipurvakshaha, Shilatanka Nakalaye, Shilatanka Nakalaye, Iton Nrsinga Paraton Nrsinga, Iton Nrsinga Paraton Nrsinga, Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsinga, Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsinga, Mahir Nrsinga, Hridaye Nrsinga, Mahir Nrsinga, Hridaye Nrsinga, Nrsinga Mage Sharana Prapatye, Nrsinga Mage Sharana Prapatye, Tavakara Kamalavare Naka Makuta Sringa, Dalita Hiranyakasipu Dhanupringa, Keshavanita Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Tava Kara Kamalavare Naka Makuta Sringa, Dalita Hiranyakasipu Dhanupringa, Keshavanita Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Nrsinghare, 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 Jaya Nrsinghare, Jaya Nrsinghare, 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 Jaya Nrsinghare, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Shri Nrsingadev Bhagavan ki jai, Nrsinga Chaturdasi ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol. Jai. Krishna book. Okay, we're reading Krishna book today again. Chapter 67, Marriage of Samba. Duryodhana, the son of Dhritarashtra, had a marriageable daughter by the name of Lakshmana. She was a very highly qualified girl of the Kuru dynasty, and many princes wanted to marry her. In such cases, the Swayamvar ceremony is held, so that the girl may select her husband according to her own choice. In Lakshmana's Swayamvara assembly, When the girl was to select her husband, Samba appeared. He was the son of Krishna by Chambavati, one of Lord Krishna's chief wives. This son Samba was so named because he was a pet child and always lived close to his mother. The name Samba indicates a son who is very much his mother's pet. Amba means mother and Sa with. So this special name was given to him because he always remained with his mother. He was also known as Chambavati Sutta for the same reason. As previously explained, all the sons of Krishna were as qualified as their great father, Lord Krishna. Samba wanted Duryodhana's daughter Lakshmana, although she was not inclined to have him. Therefore, Samba kidnapped Lakshmana by force from the Swayamvara assembly. Because Samba took Lakshmana away from the assembly by force, all the members of the Kuru dynasty, such as Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Vidura, Ujjain, and Arjuna, thought it an insult to their family tradition that the boy, Samba, could possibly have kidnapped their daughter. All of them knew that Lakshmana was not at all inclined to select him as a husband, and that she was not given the chance to select her own husband. Instead, she was forcibly taken away by this boy. Therefore, they decided that he must be punished. Then they unanimously declared that he was most impudent and had degraded the Kuru's family tradition. Therefore, all of them, under the counsel of the elderly members of the Kuru family, decided to arrest the boy but not kill him. They concluded that the girl could not be married to any boy other than Samba, since she had already been touched by him. According to the Vedic system, once being used by some boy, a girl cannot be married or given to any other boy, nor could anyone agree to marry a girl who had already thus associated with another boy. The elderly members of the family, such as Bhishma, wanted to arrest him. All the members of the Kuru dynasty, especially the great fighters, joined together just to teach him a lesson, and Karna was made the commander-in-chief for this small battle. While making the plan to arrest Samba, the Kurus counseled amongst themselves that upon his arrest, the members of the Yadu dynasty would be very angry with them. There was every possibility of the Yadus accepting the challenge and fighting with them. But they also thought, if they came here to fight with us, what could they do? The members of the Yadu dynasty cannot equal the members of the Kuru dynasty, because the kings of the Kuru dynasty are the emperors, whereas the kings of the Yadu dynasty are able to enjoy their landed property. The Kurus thought, if they come here to challenge us because their son was arrested, we shall accept the fight and teach them a lesson, so that automatically they will be subdued under pressure, as the senses are subdued by the mystic yoga process, pranayama. In the mechanical system of mystic yoga, the airs within the body are controlled, and the senses are subdued and checked from being engaged in anything other than meditation upon Lord Vishnu. After consultation and after receiving permission from the elderly members of the Kuru dynasty, such as Bhishma and Dhritarashtra, 5 great warriors, Karna, Shala, Purishrava, Yakyaketu and Duryodhana, the father of the girl, all Maharathis, and guided by the great fighter Bhishma Deva, attempted to arrest the boy Samba. There are different grades of fighters, including Maharathi, Ekarathi, and Rathi, classified according to their fighting ability. These Maharathis could fight alone with many thousands of men. All of them combined together to arrest Samba. Samba was also Maharathi, but he was alone and had to fight with the 5 other Maharathis. Still, he was not deterred when he saw all the great fighters of the Kuru dynasty coming up behind him to arrest him. Alone, he turned toward them and took his nice bow, posing exactly as a lion stands adamant in the face of other animals. Karna, leading the party, challenged Samba. "Why are you fleeing? Just stand, and we shall teach you a lesson. When challenged by another Kshatriya to stand and fight, a Kshatriya cannot go away. He must fight. Therefore, as soon as Samba accepted the challenge and stood alone before them, he was overpowered by showers of arrows thrown by all the great warriors. A lion is never afraid of being chased by many wolves and jackals. Similarly, Samba, the glorious son of the Yadu dynasty, endowed with inconceivable potencies as the son of Lord Krishna, became very angry at the warriors of the Kuru dynasty for improperly using arrows against him. He fought them with great talent. First of all, he struck each of the 5 charioteers with 5 separate arrows. He used another 4 arrows to kill the charioteers' horses, 4 on each chariot. Then he used 1 arrow to kill the driver and 1 arrow for Krsna as well as the other celebrated fighters. While Samba so diligently fought alone with the 5 great warriors, they all appreciated the boy's inconceivable potency. Even in the midst of fighting, they admitted frankly that this boy, Samba, was wonderful. But the fighting was conducted in the Kshatriya spirit. So, altogether, fighting was conducted in the Kshatriya spirit. So, altogether, although it was improper, they obliged Samba to get down from his chariot, now broken to pieces. Of the 5 warriors, 4 took care to kill Samba's 4 horses, and one of them managed to cut the string of Samba's bow so that he could no longer fight with them. In this way, with great difficulty and after a severe fight, they deprived Samba of his chariot and were able to arrest him. Thus the warriors of the Kuru dynasty accepted their great victory and took their daughter, Lakshmana, away from him. Thereafter they entered the city of Hastinapur in great triumph. The great sage Narada immediately carried the news to the Yadu dynasty that Samba was arrested and told them the whole story. The members of the Yadu dynasty became very angry at Samba's being arrested, and improperly by 5 warriors. Now, with the permission of the head of the Yadu dynasty's king, Ugrasena, they prepared to attack the capital city of the Kuru dynasty. Although Lord Balaram knew very well that by slight provocation people are prepared to fight with one another in the age of Kali, he did not like the idea that the 2 great dynasties, the Kuru dynasty and the Yadu dynasty, would fight among themselves, even though they were influenced by Kali Yuga. Instead of fighting with them, he wisely thought, "Let me go there and see the situation, and let me try to see if the fight can be settled by mutual understanding." Balaram's idea was that if the Kuru dynasty could be induced to release Samba along with his wife, Lakshmana, then the fight could be avoided. Therefore, he immediately arranged for a nice chariot to go to Hastinapur, accompanied by learned priests and brahmanas, as well as by some of the elderly members of the Yadu dynasty. He was confident that the members of the Kuru dynasty would agree to this marriage and avoid fighting amongst themselves. As Lord Balaram proceeded toward Hastinapur in his chariot, accompanied by the learned brahmanas and the elderly members of the Yadu dynasty, he looked like the moon shining in a clear sky amongst the glittering stars. When Lord Balaram reached the precincts of the city of Hastinapur, he did not enter, but stationed himself in a camp outside the city in a small garden house. Then he asked Uddhava to see the leaders of the Kuru dynasty and inquire from them whether they wanted to fight with the Yadu dynasty or to make a settlement. Uddhava went to see the leader of the Kuru dynasty, and he met all the important members, including Bhishmadeva, Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, Bali, Duryodhana, and Balika. After offering them due respects, he informed them that Lord Balaram had arrived at the garden outside the city gate. The leaders of the Kuru dynasty, especially Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, were joyful because they knew very well that Lord Balaram was a great well-wisher of their family. There were no bounds to their joy on hearing the news, and so they immediately welcomed Uddhava. In order to properly receive Lord Balaram, they all took in their hands auspicious paraphernalia for his reception and went to see him outside the city gate. According to their respective positions, they welcomed Lord Balaram by giving him in charity nice cows and arghya, an assortment of articles such as arati water, sweet preparations of honey, butter, etc., and flowers and garlands scented with pulp. Because all of them knew the exalted position of Lord Balaram as the supreme personality of Godhead, they bowed their heads before the Lord with great respect. They all exchanged words of reception by asking one another of their welfare, and when such formalities were finished, Lord Balaram, in a great voice and very patiently, submitted before them the following words for their consideration. My dear friends, this time I have come to you as a messenger with the order of the all-powerful King Ugrasena. Please, therefore, hear the order with attention and great care. Without wasting a single moment, please try to carry out the order. King Ugrasena knows very well that you warriors of the Kuru dynasty improperly fought with the pious Samba, who was alone, and that with great difficulty and unrighteous tactics you have arrested him. We have all heard this news, but we are not very agitated because we are most intimately related to each other. I do not think we should disturb our good relationship. We should continue our friendship without any unnecessary fighting. Please, therefore, immediately release Samba and bring him along with his wife Lakshmana before me. When Lord Balaram spoke in a commanding tone full of heroic assertion, supremacy and chivalry, the leaders of the Kuru dynasty did not appreciate his statements. Rather, all of them became agitated, and with great anger they said, "Hello! These words are very astonishing, but quite befitting the age of Kali. Otherwise, how could Balaram speak so vituperatively?" The language and tone used by Balaram are simply abusive, and due to the influence of this age, it appears that the shores befitting the feet want to rise, the shoes befitting the feet want to rise to the top of the head, where the helmet is worn. We are connected with the Yadu dynasty by marriage, and because of this, they have been given the chance to come live with us, dine with us, and sleep with us. Now they are taking advantage of these privileges. They had practically no position before. We gave them a portion of our kingdom to rule. Now they are trying to command us. We have allowed the Yadu dynasty to use the royal insignias like the whisk, fan, conch shell, white umbrella, crown, royal throne, sitting place, bedstead, and everything befitting the royal order. They should not have used such royal paraphernalia in our presence, but we did not check them due to our family relationship. Now they have the audacity to order us to do things well. This is enough of the impudence. We cannot allow them to do any more of these things. Nor shall we allow them to use these royal insignias. It would be best to take all these things away. It is improper to feed a snake with milk, since such merciful activities simply increase his venom. The Yadu dynasty is now trying to go against those who have fed them so nicely. Their flourishing conditions is due to our gifts and merciful behavior, and still they are so shameless that they are trying to order us. How regrettable are all these activities. No one in the world can enjoy anything if the members of the Kuru dynasty like Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Arjuna do not allow them to. Exactly as a lamb cannot enjoy life in the presence of a lion without our desire, it is not even possible for the demigods in heaven, headed by King Indra, to find enjoyment in life. What to speak of ordinary human beings? Actually, the members of the Kuru dynasty were very puffed up due to their opulence, kingdom, aristocracy, family tradition, great warriors, family members, and vast, expansive empire. They did not even observe common formalities of civilized society, and in the presence of Lord Balaram, they uttered insulting words about the Yadu dynasty. Speaking in this unmannerly way, they returned to their city of Hastinapur. Although Balaram patiently heard their insulting words and simply observed their uncivil behavior, from his appearance it was clear that he was burning with anger and was thinking of retaliating with great vengeance. His bodily features became so agitated that it was difficult for anyone to look at him. He laughed very loudly and said, "It is true that if a man becomes too puffed up because of his family, opulence, beauty, and material advancement, he no longer wants a peaceful life, but becomes belligerent toward all others. It is useless to give such a person good instruction for gentle behavior and peaceful life. On the contrary, one should search out the ways and means to punish him. Generally, you want to read a page?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Come.
Thanks.
Generally,
Totally forgotten.
due to material opulence, a man becomes exactly like an animal. To give an animal peaceful instructions is useless, and the only means is argumentum ad baculum. In other words, the only means to keep animal in order is a stick. Just see how impudent are the members of the Kuru dynasty. I wanted to make a peaceful settlement despite the anger of all the other members of the Yadu dynasty, including Lord Krishna himself. They were preparing to attack the whole kingdom of the Kuru dynasty, but I
pacified them and took the trouble to come here to settle the affair without any fighting. Yet these rascals behave like this. It is clear that they do not want a peaceful settlement, for they are factually warmongers. With great pride, they have repeatedly insulted me by calling the Yadu dynasty ill names. Even the king of heaven, Indra, abides by the order of the Yadu dynasty, and you consider King Ugrasena, the head of the Bhojas, Vishnus, and Andakas, and Yadavas, to be the leader of a small phalanx. Your conclusion is wonderful. You do not care for King Ugrasena, whose order is obeyed even by King Indra. Consider the exalted position of the Yadu dynasty. They have forcibly used both the assembly house and the Parijata tree of the heavenly planet. And still you think that they cannot order you. Don't you even think that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can sit on the exalted throne and can command everyone? All right. If your thinking is like that, you deserve to be taught a very good lesson. You have thought it wise that the royal insignias like the whisk, fan, white umbrella, royal throne, and other princely paraphernalia not used by the Yadu dynasty. Does this mean that even Lord Krishna, the Lord of the whole creation, the husband of the goddess of fortune, cannot use the royal paraphernalia? The dust of Krishna's lotus feet is worshipped by all the great demigods. The Ganges water that inundates the whole world. And since it emanates from his lotus feet, its banks have turned into great places of pilgrimage. The principal deities of all planets engage in his service and consider themselves most fortunate to take the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna on their helmets. Great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune and I are simply plenary parts of his spiritual identity. And still you think that he is not fit to use the royal insignia or even sit on the royal throne? Alas, how regrettable it is that these fools consider us, the members of the Yadu dynasty, to be like shoes and themselves like helmets. It is clear that now those leaders of the Kuru dynasty have become mad over their worldly possessions and opulence. Every statement they made was full of crazy proposals. I shall immediately take them to task and bring them to their senses. If I do not take steps against them, it will be improper on my part. And therefore, on this very day, I will rid the whole world of any trace of the Kuru dynasty. I shall finish them off immediately. While talking like this, Lord Balaram seemed so furious that he looked as if he could turn the whole cosmic creation to ashes. He stood up and steadily, and taking his plough in his hand, began striking the earth with it, separating the whole city of Istanbul from the earth, and then began to drag the city towards the flowing water of the Ganges. This caused a great tremor through Istanbul, as if there had been an earthquake, and it seemed that the whole city would be dismantled. Okay, and we'll finish the chapter tomorrow. And thank you for tuning in. Sorry for my late arrival. Hare Krishna. And all glories to Lord Nrsingadev, and praise for Lord Nrsingadev, and all glories to the disappearance of Hiranyakashipu. Hare Krishna.